Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news and takeover news show. A few interesting stories coming in today on Harry Kane, Goretzka, obviously the Rasmus Højlund situation, announcement being delayed, Amrabat's agents reportedly travelling to the UK to get that deal done. I think the fact that we're linked to Goretzka for me is a big United game to just get Amrabat done. We were linked to the Feyenoord keeper just before we signed Anana. We were linked to Casado just before we signed Mount. I think that's why we're linked with Goretzka, but we'll get into that later. But first of all, we are going to be discussing the takeover. Mike Keegan, probably the best journalist we've got right now in terms of takeover news, has probably been the most credible and consistent source through the takeover, when news has often had to be taken with grains and barrels of salt because of the amount of misinformation on there. But Mike Keegan said a few things. He said that the reports yesterday that the takeover had been paused. He knows for sure that bidders are still in the race. Obviously, what we do know about Mike Keegan is he has connections to the Qataris. It feels like the Times have connections to Sir Jim and Mike Keegan has connections to the Qataris. So the fact that Mike Keegan is saying, no, the takeover race is still ongoing, it's not paused, means he's probably got that information from the Qataris or their camp, because we know Mike Keegan's got a source close to the Qatari camps, which means 100% the takeover isn't paused for the Qatari camp. And when iPaper Sport came out with a report yesterday, they said the takeover was only paused for one of the two bidders, and maybe that it could be paused for just Sir Jim. And if it's paused for Sir Jim, but it's not paused for Qatar, that could be a positive sign for Qatar, or it could not be paused for Sir Jim either. And that report from iPaper could be absolute false news. You never know. But Mike Keegan obviously has sources close to the Qatar camp. He's saying basically, the takeover is not paused for Qatar. It's still ongoing. He's pretty much confirmed the takeover is still ongoing for Qatar. Qatar is still in the process. But he's also said that sources close to Sheikh Jassim's camp and the bid have told him that Qatar still feel they'll prevail. So Qatar feel they'll prevail. They're still confident. So we're going to go and get right into that news as well. There's reports that the Højlund announcement will be on Saturday before the Lens game as well. And of course, green and gold until the club is sold people as well. Someone said the thumbnail is brave unless you have real credibility. Well, the word prevail has come from Mike Keegan's story, and he's saying Qatar are confident they will prevail. So that's why I put Qatar will prevail, because that's what the confidence was in the story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys and get up the story as well. I don't feel 100% today. Hopefully I can be live for as long as possible, but I don't feel 100% today. If I'm being honest with you as well. But United luring for Goretzka as well as Amrabat. Well, potentially if Fred, McTominay and Donny go, I could see us going for Goretzka on top of Amrabat. But I think Goretzka's a game to, I think, because we're focused on Amrabat, we're in negotiations with Amrabat. As Fabrizio Romano confirmed, I think Goretzka's just a game to be like to Fiorentina. Oh, by the way, I have other options. So if you're going to put the Amrabat price up because United are in for Amrabat, this is what we're going to do. That's what I think it is as well. Notice how the thumbnail has a question mark after the statement. Yeah, if my thumbnail has a question mark after the statement, it's based off of obviously a report that someone said, like, it's Qatar, will they prevail? Qatar feel they'll prevail. Exactly. Now, what was basically said by Mike Keegan? Let's get right into the story. It came out by Mike Keegan and said, breaking, Manchester United takeover discussions remain ongoing, with the Glazers continuing to talk to a number of parties. So this is a big bomber. This is a big bomber because, one, it's come from Mike Keegan. Mike Keegan is the Fabrizio Romano of the Man United transfer. Mike Keegan is very in the loop with the takeover and is someone that I would believe. Mike Keegan's not taking any L's. Yes, you can't believe every bit of news that comes out on the takeover because NDAs were signed, and I think the takeover is different. The transfer sources and the journalists that would usually report transfers aren't going to be the same people reporting the takeover because it's a financial deal. But if there is a source to listen to on the Manchester United takeover, it's 100% Mike Keegan. Mike Keegan said in August and September last year that there was Middle Eastern interest in Manchester United and that the club was going to put up for sale. I spoke about this in September. What did we talk? And then in October, November of that year, the club announced it was for sale. I was talking about what Mike Keegan had been saying in September and October. 1 month before Man United was put up for sale, Mike Keegan was saying the club was going to put up for sale. He was saying there was Middle Eastern interest. He was the first people to confirm that Qatar were in. He confirmed the Qatar bids. Mike Keegan has definitely been one of the only sources that I will pretty much believe a lot of what he says on the takeover. I believe he's in the loop. I know he's in the loop with the Qataris. A lot of other sources, I say, take with a big barrel of salt. A lot of other sources are the Rio Ferdinand of sources. It's going to happen tomorrow. Doesn't happen tomorrow. It doesn't happen a month later. Nothing. Dark. But Mike Keegan has said the reports that the takeover is paused are not true. He said, breaking, Manchester United takeover discussions remain ongoing with the Glazers and are continuing to talk to other parties. Now, we know most likely Mike Keegan has got information from someone close to the Qatari circle, because we know that he seems to have some good source close to the Qatari circle. So that for me is confirming that there's definitely still talks ongoing with Sheikh Jassim and Manchester United as well. Please smash the like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new as well. Who is the number of parties? I mean, I'm sure Sir Jim Ratcliffe is still in the race as well. The share price is probably going to rise again as well for United as well. And Sheikh Jassim just needs to convince us that the damn Glazers, they're not going to get a better offer, says Jason. Yeah, Sheikh Jassim just need to convince the Glazers they're not going to get a better offer. The Glazers are still holding out for more money. But what else was said on the takeover situation? There's a lot of news coming out. There was news that Qatar feel that they will prevail. Qatar confident they will prevail in the race as well. And there's confidence in the Qataris that their bid will win the race as well. So obviously want to get into that because a lot of people are asking me about that, why I've said Qatar will prevail with a big fat question mark at the end. And that is because it's come out as well that there remains confidence among some close to Sheikh Jassim's bid for Manchester United that they will prevail. However, neither group is thought to have got close to the $6 billion that the Glazers are reportedly seeking. So despite report that the takeover has been closed, Mike Keegan, who obviously has sources close to the Qatari camp and is a genuine journalist, is saying that there is confidence among those close to Sheikh Jassim's bid for United that they will prevail. Qatar, Sheikh Jassim, they feel that their bid will prevail. However, they are not close to the $6 billion. And we know the reason the takeover is being held up is because the Glazers want offers closer to that $6 billion range. That's what they want. The Glazers want an offer in that $6 billion range. That is why the takeover is being delayed. However, the takeover is not being delayed because it's completely stopped. Mike Keegan is saying takeover talks are ongoing with Qatar. Mike Keegan's confirmed takeover talks are ongoing with Qatar, and he's confirmed that Qatar are still confident that they will prevail, that they will win the race for the takeover. However, he's saying Qatar have not won the takeover yet. You know, neither group has won because neither group has got close to the $6 billion price tag the Glazers are reportedly seeking, which is believed to be why the hold-up is. It believes that the Glazers are holding it up to get $6 billion. But the problem with that is Qatar have said to the Glazers, this is our last bid. Don't contact us again unless you're going to get this last bid out of us. Qatar have made it clear to the Glazers that this $5.5 billion bid is their last bid, but the Glazers want $6 billion. But Qatar aren't going to pay $6 billion. And you can be like, oh, Qatar have $6 billion now. Let's Qatar have $6 billion. Why aren't Qatar bidding $6 billion if they have $6 billion? La-di-la, la-di-la, la-di-la. The reason Qatar aren't bidding $6 billion is because if you are someone who wants to do business with Qatar and you see Qatar put in a $4.5 billion bid, then a $5 billion bid, then a $5.5 billion bid, then a year later cave and put in a $6 billion bid for United, you know that if you want to sell something to Qataris, they'll eventually cave. And if they want something, they will just pay the price for it. And then the Qatari Sheikh Jassim, they will always be forced into overpaying things. It's a status thing. The price tag is $6 billion. If they just go and give the Glazers $6 billion, boom, boom. Like, that's not good business for them. And they're smart businessmen. But the Glazers look at it, and the way the Glazers are looking at the whole situation is they've got 3 different bids from the Qataris. Each of the 3 different bids from the Qataris was upped. They are like, well, if they've upped 3 bids to get the deal done, surely they'll make a 4th bid and up that to get the deal done. Surely that's what they'll do. You know, $6 billion to Qataris is £6 to me and you. You know, so the Glazers are sitting there going, oh, surely they can just put another 500 million in. It's nothing to them. So that's why I believe the Glazers are delaying. You know, it's either because maybe they want Sir Jim to up his offer, or maybe the whole situation around the Sir Jim case, that Class B shareholders are going to complain and Class A shareholders are going to complain and threaten to sue the Glazers. You know, there's a whole conundrum going on Sir Jim's bid, which is actually why Qatar are still the favourite. There's a lot of complications around Sir Jim's bid. The 4 of the 6 Glazer siblings don't want Sir Jim. They don't want any say in the club. They want to be completely brought out. John Avram wants to stay. Class A shareholders are going to complain if it goes to Sir Jim, and there's complexities around Sir Jim's bid, which means the Glazers are kind of pushed in a way to, I'd say, probably accept the Qatari bid, which is why I think a source came out the other day, and I can't remember who it was. I can't remember 100% who it was, but someone said, probably last week, something along the lines of the Qatars feel that if the club is sold, it's sold to them. The Qataris felt that it was either them or the Glazers stay, that Sir Jim might be out of the race. And the Qataris still feel that their bid for Man United will prevail. That's still how they feel. And hopefully that is the case. Hopefully United get Qatari owners. Sky Sports said last week that now the Manchester United players are returning from tour. There will be an announcement on the takeover when United are back from pre-season tour. United are on their way back from pre-season tour. So the announcement on the takeover could be this week. But look, how many times have we been told there's going to be an announcement on the Man United takeover and there's not? But there's definitely confidence around Sheikh Jassim that their bid will prevail still. So despite the takeover being quiet, despite reports that the takeover has been paused, Mike Keegan is saying no, it's not paused, it's ongoing. Qatar is still in talks, other parties as well as Qatar are still in talks, and Qatar are still confident their bid for Manchester United will prevail as well. Guys, please do smash the like button and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new as well. Amrabat to United will happen. He said he only wants United. Amrabat said yes to United. We spoke about that in my video this morning as well. And why is the Højlund announcement being dragged till Saturday? Why not tonight or tomorrow? They're saying it's because the plane was late and he was late for his medical and all of that. I wouldn't be shocked if it has something to do with United making a Greenwood announcement in the coming days and then they'll announce Højlund right after as PR because they know there's going to be backlash on whatever way they go with Mason Greenwood because fans have very strong opinions on that situation as well. I don't understand why the four Glazer siblings can't have a majority vote against the two and sell the club to Sheikh Jassim. That would be nice if that was the case, wouldn't it, as well? And 766 people watching, guys, so please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new and share the video. Lots to get into with regards to the United takeover. I'm also 18 subscribers away from 66.9k, on the road to 67k, 18 subscribers to go. So please do subscribe down below if you're new, or if you're already subscribed, just smash the like button to help the reach of the video, see if we can get the video further out there. But what else was said on the Man United takeover? It was said that the Qataris are confident that they will prevail in their race to buy Manchester United. And it was said just in there remains confidence among some close to Sheikh Jassim's bid that they will win the race to buy United. So again, Mike Keegan saying Qatar confident they will prevail in the race to win United, that they will be confident, all of that as well. And as mentioned earlier, the takeover process is still ongoing with the Glazers talking to a number of parties. Now, that is the only thing we've got to be skeptical about. If we do go back to the original story, if we do go back to the first thing that Mike Keegan said, is he said breaking Man United takeover discussions remain ongoing with the Glazers continue to a number of parties. Now, those parties, one of which we know is Qatar, because I think this is where Mike Keegan has probably got his information from. But this other party could be Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and you never know, because of non-disclosure agreements being signed, there could be another party the Glazers are talking to that maybe we don't know about. There could be someone in this takeover whole situation that we don't know about because of non-disclosure agreements being signed, and maybe the Glazers would be hiding the fact that they're from the race because we wouldn't like them. However, I do think if another party was involved in the takeover, the Glazers would be doing their best to make sure Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim know about that, to try and scare them as well into putting in a higher bid. I do think the way the takeover is going to be played is, I think we will get news that we're going to get PR news. I think it's going to be a game to get Qatar a higher bid. From what I'm hearing from people I've spoken to around the takeover, the Glazers have to sell. The Glazers, people are still confident in a space. The throat's gone. Let me just grab some more quickly. My throat's just clicked out. Ooh. People are still confident in the fucking My throat is absolutely gone, people. People are still confident in the takeover place that the Qataris, that not the Qataris, that the Glazers will sell. And there's still good sources saying, you know, the Glazers can stay. They're not 100% going to stay. But the Glazers, there's a lot of people say it's most likely that the Glazers go. There's a chance they can stay. They're not happy with the bids. They haven't got the $6 billion they want. There's still good chances the Glazers can stay, but there is a feeling that the Glazers will go. And this has come from reliable sources. And some sources have said they stay or it's Qatar. Some sources have said Sir Jim Ratcliffe's out the race, but then other sources are saying no, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is well in the race. I think if Sir Jim Ratcliffe was out the race, he would have put out a statement to say that he's left the takeover race. So I believe the reports that Sir Jim is out the race. And honestly, I don't believe a lot of reports on the United takeover because there's NDAs signed. I think a lot of the information that does get put out is from people just trying to get some clicks, some views, or just heard something, like Rio's heard something from someone, but actually was that credible? I think Reuters have definitely got links to the Rain Group. Bloomberg, Financial Times definitely got links to the Rain Group. Mike Keegan's definitely got links to the Qataris, and I think they are the sources to listen to in regards to the Manchester United takeover. I think there's a lot of other sources that, in all honesty, aren't worth listening to as well. But I think for me, the takeover, the whole reason it's delayed is because I just think the Glazers want 6 billion. The Glazers are all about money. They're all about greed. I think they're just trying to do what they can to milk the money out of Qatar. They know they can play. They know the Qataris can pay the 6 billion. I think that's what they want. It was also said by Mike Keegan, concerns have been raised about the Man United sale process might be paused to allow the Glazers to reassess the options. However, the current situation is that discussions are continuing with a number of groups with a view of the full sale or partial investment. Now, the interesting thing that Mike Keegan adds on the end is the view of full sale or partial investment. Now, the only way the Glazers can stay is if someone goes in and says, look, hey Glazers, here's some partial investment. And I will absolutely cry if they come in and say, look, here's some partial investment. That is the worst thing that can happen. But still, logically, the Glazers might want partial investment. As it came out yesterday, the new Champions League format, the way that TV result rights could be sold, the value of football's the biggest sport in the world, is going up and up and up. There is a potential that United can be worth 10 billion in a few years, and that could give the Glazers motivation to hold on for the club for another 5 years to see if it's going to be worth 10 billion. But if the Glazers continue to run the club like they have run the club and run it to the ground, I don't think it's going to be worth much more than 6 billion in a few years to come. I think they've got a record-breaking bid from Sheikh Jassim. Take the 5.5 billion, jog on. You've taken enough money out of this club. You've taken $1 million in dividends. You put $1 million in debt on this club. Sheikh Jassim would give you 6 billion if you didn't have to pay off your $1 billion in debt. You didn't have to pay 2 billion on the stadium. The club is not worth 6 billion. Take your 5.5 billion and please can you jog on? Because the club you're saying, oh, the club could be worth more in a few years. The club won't be worth more in a few years if you stay. And you're not in a position to stay. You run United so badly that it's not as self-sustainable as it used to be. Post-COVID, United's not as self-sustainable as it used to be. So you can't take out the dividends that you used to take out dividends. So you're staying at United off the hope that you could get even more money for it in a few years, playing with the fans' emotion to say it's up for sale. That would be the worst case scenario. But I still believe the Glazers will sell, and the Qataris believe if the Glazers sell, that they will sell to them and not Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And I'm still being positive with the takeover. Sometimes I don't know how to feel with the takeover. Sometimes I feel that it's just never ending and all of that. But then I've got to remember the Newcastle takeover took well over a year. I've got to remember that financially it will be more difficult for the Glazers to stay. And I've got to back that Qatar, when they want something, that they get it. We know from many reports how determined Qatar are to get Manchester United, and how Qatar will be going all out to get Manchester United, and they will not stop till they get what they want kind of report. So I'm obviously staying positive on the takeover and all of that as well. 10 with Qatar would be absolutely brilliant as well. And I'm just looking at a few chats as well. Someone's saying they're a reporter for NTV Football and they can assure me the Qatar group will win. Cheers. I mean, I get told that by a lot of people, but I don't, like, the only genuine sources I'm believing are like Reuters, Mike Keegan, people around the space. But you might have a good source as well. And Qatar may be confident however much they want to be, but they need to know the Glazers won't sell at their current affair. This is the feeling and this is the fear with the Manchester United takeover. The whole feeling, the whole fear is, Qatar are confident. Qatar are confident their bid will prevail. Lots of positive news. The Qataris are confident their bid will prevail. Blah 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 blah. That's great that the Qataris are confident that their bid will prevail and all of that. But they still not bid 6 billion. I just think if the Glazers have delayed this takeover for 3 months throughout the whole summer transfer window, what's to say they won't delay it for another 3 months to get that 6 billion? What have the Qataris got to do to get over that finish line? Have they got to bid 6 billion? But because the Qataris have said, this is our final offer, we're going to walk away. They've said that and they've made this very clear that is their final offer. So Qatar are in a difficult position, whereas if they come in with another offer and it's a bigger offer, other people that want to do business with Qatar down the lines went, look how they caved with the Glazers. They did 3 bids with the Glazers. They said their 3rd bid was their final bid. And then they went back and caved and put in a 4th bid just to get it over the line. If we want this much money from the Qataris, we can. It will affect Qataris in the world of business. It will affect their status. So this is more of a message from the Qataris of we're not budging on our bid. Jim Ratcliffe, because he has to borrow the money, can't seem to afford to budge on his bid. And there's difficulties with the Glazers being sued if they go with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So there's a feeling that this could be a stalemate. However, the Glazers are in a position where actually if they don't get a good minority investment that's going to allow them the ability to stay, and only 2 of the Glazers want minority investment, the other 4 want to stay, and it has to be unanimous vote between the 6 of them, you know, they are going to have to set up the club. Now, they might wait a year to set up the club. They might drag this takeover process on to Christmas time. I wouldn't be surprised by it. But I still think they have to sell the club unless they get a really good minority investment that they can't turn down. I think they have to sell the club. I think that it's going to drag on for a while. I think it's a game to see how much money they can get out of Qatar. I don't think Qatar will cave, but I'm not sure what needs to happen to get it over the line. Alice, this takeover hurts my heart. Hopefully, we will manage to sell a player in the next few days and can get Amrabat over the line as well. We will talk about Amrabat in a second. Reports coming out that Amrabat's agent has, of course, flown to Manchester to try and get the deal over the line. Again, I'm not sure how reliable that source is, that Amrabat's agent is in Manchester. It did come out from a Moroccan source, so I don't know what the reliability is like with Moroccan sources, so you will have to tell me about that down below. But obviously, there were reports coming out about Amrabat sort of being nearly over the line. They're just sort of the agents are there flying out, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. The more Ten Hag is successful forming a new squad, the more the Glazers will tease. This is the thing, the Glazers know if Ten Hag gets United back to winning trophies, United are going to generate a lot more money. The Glazers know the new Champions League format, more games, they're going to generate a lot more money. They're discussing this idea in the Premier League of selling TV rights. The Glazers are going to bring in more money. But I think the Glazers are just using that as a negotiation tactic. I think the Glazers are just trying to say to Qatar, to Sir Jim, because there was a report, and I don't know how true this report was, and because I've always said take all the reports with a pinch of salt, and I can't remember who said it, but it wasn't like a source I was familiar with, that the Qataris, not the Qataris, that the Glazers were going to ask for 8 billion from the Qataris because of this new Champions League format and this potential of this new deal, and that the Glazers were going to put the asking price up and all of that as well. You know, there's so much greed, and the better United do on the pitch, the more money they can make, which could potentially be an idea as well. I'm just going to scroll down the chat as well, so do let me know your thoughts down below. Of course, Glazers out. Everybody who is Glazers out watching, smash that like button. Let's see how many likes we can get on the live stream. Let's see how many of the 900 of you guys are Glazers out. So let's see that like button be hit as well. And financially, it makes no sense for the Glazers to say, and Sir Jim can't help out because he'll get sued. Potentially, yes, as well. Is the share price going up? Should we look at the Manchester United share price, and then we can actually discuss a lot of this stuff and what it might mean? So every time the share price goes up, it's always a positive indication. As we know, it massively went down, but it is going up steadily. I mean, look, it went down massively Wednesday. Apparently, it's at 20 now. It's saying it's at 18. Oh, it is at 20. So it's saying it's at 18 here, but it is obviously gone up, definitely. They're just not registered it yet. So the fact that it's at 20 is definitely more of a positive sign. I'd say that if the share price is over 20, for me, that is a big positive for United as well. Who'd have thought we'd got this summer window done before the takeover? He's in the craziest person, thought the takeover would have been done a while back. I'm with you. This is the crazy thing, is when we've been talking about the takeover on this channel, because unfortunately we have been talking about the takeover from back in June. We've been talking about the takeover back in November. I mean, I've been talking about the Man United takeover on my channel from August when Sir Jim Ratcliffe spoke about it. But if you followed me last year, you'll know that the takeover was announced in November, but you'll know I did 6 or 7 videos across September and October, which some people were saying, Alice, stop getting my hopes up, where I said, look, sources have said that the Glazers are going to put the club up for sale. Mike Keegan has discussed the possibility. We even have people like United fans like Phil Brown that has genuine sources saying the club is going to go up for sale. We did a lot of live streams in September, October, saying there are rumours and sources saying the club is going to go up for sale. Then we obviously got the bomber in November, a month, 2 months later, the club went up for sale. So we've been talking about the takeover since really the whole big protest went down in the summer, since the fall of Brentford. We've been talking about the takeover since it kind of first halted there. But obviously the takeover news came out in November, and we were told by the Simon Stones, the really reliable sources, this will be wrapped up by Q1 of 2023, quarter one of 2023, which is end of March. We've been told this takeover will be done end of March. And then we got told there's a few delays, it will be done in April. Then we got told there's a few delays, it will be done in May. Then we got told as soon as the FA Cup finals announced, the Glazers are going to announce the bidder. The Glazers were having meetings with Qatar in London. As soon as the FA Cup final is done, the Glazers are going to announce who's won the Man United takeover. We were getting told all this stuff. It was pretty infuriating, wasn't it? They were just saying this back and forth. Yep, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. We didn't find out. Now we're being told by Sky we're going to find out this week on the takeover. I mean, now there's a lot more news coming out on the takeover. But would I be shocked if I'm sitting here in a month's time knowing absolutely nothing on the takeover? Not at all. I think this takeover could drag on to Christmas. I think the fact that it wasn't done before the transfer window, and they've had no rush to do it in the transfer window, sets them a new deadline of the January transfer window, sets them a new deadline of Christmas, sets them a new deadline to drag out for 3 months. Because if they've wasted 3 months of Qatar and Sir Jim's time, what gives them a reason not to waste another 3 months of time as well? Glazers are doing a new stadium for Tampa Bay too. Where are they getting the money from? Yeah, maybe they'll need to sell United to get the money for that as well. Because I don't think they can't be taking out the dividends to cover that at the moment. So solid point as well. Screw the Glazers, says David. Smash the like button, people, if your Glazers are out as well. Lots of positivity around the Qatar takeover. Lots of big news coming out as well. Everybody with the Glazers out in the chat, love to see that as well. Liverpool fans are buying shirts to keep Glazers in. I don't think Liverpool fans would be buying United shirts. They would have to buy a lot. They'd have to buy a lot as well. Takeover gives me a sore head. Just get it done. Qatar, exactly as well. And Takeover will come after the window now. Now, I honestly think, I know Sky Sports are coming out. And I know Sky Sports are coming out and saying things that, oh, we're going to get an announcement on the takeover next week. La-di-la, la-di-la, la-di-la. I get Man United are back from tour. They're back from America. I guess the Glazers don't want to announce anything while they're in America, so they can go and sponge off the United tour and act like they're powerful people that people care about, even though they're not. But I think something will be announced at the end of the transfer window. I think if they're going to stay, I think they will do something big as well. Big. I think if the Glazers are going to stay at Man United, they will do something big. They will sign someone big. But as I said, I think they will go. I think they will go. I've spoken to people who've given me assurances that it's most likely that they will go, and I trust those people. So I'm staying quite positive as well. I do want to get into a few other stories regarding Manchester United news, transfer news, and more as well. There are reports coming in that Manchester United are going to hijack the Lavia to Liverpool deal. Lavia to Liverpool was very, very advanced, by the way, people. Fabrizio Romano has obviously confirmed this. This started a month ago. You know how we were so advanced with Højlund last week? Like last week, we knew the Højlund deal was going to be done. It was just a matter of time of United upping the bid and agreeing, here we go for Højlund. Liverpool's in that exact same situation with Lavia, sorry. Liverpool have put in two bids for Lavia that have been rejected. Southampton won, I think, 50 million. Liverpool have bid 45 million. There's only a 5 million difference in valuation. Liverpool have put in a few bids for Lavia. They've agreed personal terms with Lavia. The Lavia bid was rejected yesterday from Liverpool. Now, Manchester United reportedly into Lavia. Manchester United interested in hijacking this. I think the fact that Lavia has agreed personal terms with Liverpool and that Liverpool have put in two bids and been rejected, and that if United can't afford to put in a 25 million bid for Amrabat now, I don't see them putting in a 50 million bid for Lavia, even when Amrabat is the priority target over Lavia. So I think this Manchester United in for Lavia story is something that Southampton has spun to journalists to try and get Liverpool to hurry up and put a bid in and try and scare Liverpool into paying 50 million, because Liverpool are only willing to pay 45 million. I think while United like Lavia, unless we've got a lot of money from McTominay and Donny, I don't think we're in a position to pursue him. I think Lavia to Liverpool is so deep that as much as I'd love Lavia at United, as fantastic a signing he would be for United, I think that Lavia's name is being used to just hurry up a deal for Lavia to Liverpool. I think that situation is so advanced. A bit like how I think PSG's name was being used in a Højlund deal. Like, it's not impossible if Liverpool just walk away from the Lavia deal. Yeah, we could swoop in. If we walked away from the Højlund deal, if PSG were willing to bid more than us, then yeah, you could have gone to PSG. But unless Man United are willing to bid more than 50 million for Lavia and give Southampton more money than Liverpool are, the deal's not going to be done. So, and I don't see United doing that because Amrabat's the priority and Amrabat is half the price of Lavia. And you know what? When I actually look at it from a perspective, when I actually deep it, when I actually think about it, that's pretty good business from Man United, because as much as I like Lavia and as much as I think Lavia is a special big player, I have to say, like, the fact is, with Amrabat, you're getting a player that's ready now. With Amrabat, you're getting an experienced player. You're getting a player that's ready now. You're getting a player that's ready to make an impact. You're getting a player that's ready to do all these things now with Amrabat. Lavia is like Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund's a fantastic signing, but he's not Harry Kane. I'm really happy we signed Rasmus Højlund. Fantastic technical player with bags of potential, but he's not Harry Kane. The impact Harry Kane would have on us next season compared to Rasmus Højlund is massive. Harry Kane guarantees you 20 plus goals. That's like Lavia and Amrabat. Well, Amrabat isn't quite Harry Kane level, but bringing in Amrabat, you've got someone that's ready now, that can play as DM now, that's experienced, World Cup, Cup finals, all of that. Lavia is like Højlund. He's raw with bags of potential, experience. But if you're playing 50 million for someone that could be a Casemiro understudy that is somewhat ready, or 25 million for someone that you know will be ready when called upon in the big games, Casemiro, Amrabat, Bruno, midfield three, maybe Mount pushed out on the left potentially, boom. That's what I like to see, because we saw, again, Eriksen versus Real Madrid really struggled. What I was thinking, actually, and what I wanted to get up, which is a little bit off topic, is I think that Kobe Mainoo is going to potentially be used used over Eriksen a little bit more. We saw Kobbie Mainoo play alongside Casemiro against Real Madrid, and I think it's very disappointing that Kobbie Mainoo is going to be out for 2 months, because I think it's going to be very difficult for him to get back into the squad. But the fact that Ten Hag started Kobbie Mainoo versus Real Madrid and played him alongside Casemiro says to me that Kobbie Mainoo could definitely have an important role at United next season as well. Someone said I could have had a son and daughter with my partner at the time. My Glazers, yeah. I mean, literally, it's been 9 months. If you got pregnant before the takeover, you'd have had the baby now. And we're back greater than Lavia. I think right now, yeah, I think Lavia will be a better player in the future, and I think Lavia is an unbelievable player. And I think, you know, we're in a position really where we could get Lavia because we've got Casemiro. I actually think it's better for United if they were the same price. Let's say Lavia and Amrabat were both 25 million. It would be better for Liverpool to get Amrabat because they need someone that's ready now, and it'd be better for United to get Lavia. But again, I think it's just United's name 100% being used to speed the deal along as well. Manchester United joined Roma and Nottingham Forest in a race to sign Santos striker Marcos Leonard, who's available for 15 million this summer. I wouldn't, you know what, this story, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a cheap, experienced striker to take the pressure off Rasmus Højlund. Now, I don't know enough about Marcus Leonard. Is it Leonard or Leonardo? Let me do some Marcus Leonardo. Look, I wouldn't be 100% surprised if we were going in for a striker to take the pressure of Højlund, but Marcus Leonardo is 20 years of age, is a Brazilian striker. I think if United were going to get a striker on the cheap to take the pressure of Højlund, I would put my bets on Taremi. Because again, this guy's no different to Højlund in the sense of he's only played in the Brazilian league, and Man United have already brought in a young striker. So I would probably take the story that United are going in for the Brazilian striker with a pinch of salt. I think Taremi stories I would believe, but I think these kind of stories I'd take with a pinch of salt as well. Should the club have a transfer embargo? When are they going through the takeover? Well, no, the Glazers are still spending money this summer. The fact that, do you know what? I'll be honest with you guys, and a lot of you people won't like this. The fact that the Glazers are still spending money this summer, the fact that the Glazers are still investing in the squad this summer, the Glazers knew they were going to be here throughout the whole takeover. The Glazers knew they weren't going to sell this summer, which makes me think that we won't hear anything for a little bit on the takeover. I think the fact that we brought Mount and Nana and Højlund, we've done this business, we've done our ins, we've done our outs with the takeover process ongoing. It says to me the Glazers knew they were going to be staying here the whole summer. Anything on Greenwood? We will touch upon that in a second. I do think the Højlund, maybe this is just me speculating, this is just me guessing on things. So I don't know information, so I'm just going to say that. But I do think the fact that the Højlund deal is set to be delayed and they're going to announce him at the RC Lens game says to me, with what Romana said on Greenwood, maybe they're going to do something with Greenwood before. Maybe we want to address the Greenwood situation, then announce Højlund. By the way, guys, we're on 66,890 subscribers. If you're watching right now, and you're not subscribed down below to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel. So close to that target of course, 66.9k. 10 more subscribers, 900 people more watching. I do live streams covering all the latest Manchester United news every single evening as well. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I want to quickly cover the Goretzka news. I want to cover a few other news as well. As Arsenal down in pre-season, Liverpool losing in pre-season today. Liverpool fans were getting very loud. Liverpool fans were getting very loud that Man United had lost a couple of pre-season games. Just for Liverpool to win only one pre-season game. I thought, why are Liverpool getting so loud? Also, Arsenal are getting dominated by Monaco right now. Arsenal are playing not their strongest lineup, but Declan Rice, Partey, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Timber, Saliba, Ramsdale. Arsenal actually getting destroyed by Monaco right now in pre-season. So if Arsenal can complete bottle jobs next season, that would be brilliant. Liverpool losing, Arsenal losing. I know it's pre-season. I know it means nothing. But those two, Arsenal and Liverpool fans have been bigging it up that United are losing in pre-season. I see Arsenal and Liverpool fans going, hey, United losing in pre-season. Like, it's pre-season. So you know what? I want you to lose. So you look silly as well. I would like you to lose. So we're going to quickly get into the Goretzka news. And then we will get into the Greenwood news. So it was said on Goretzka, Leon Goretzka was on Man United's list. In the last 10 days, he's clearly shown he won't be a starter under Thomas Tuchel at Bayern Munich. What am I going to say about this? Amrabat is better than Goretzka. Amrabat's more what we need than Goretzka. Amrabat can play Casemiro role and next to Casemiro. Goretzka is another McTominay that's slightly better. Goretzka is a German McTominay who can win trophies. That is all he is. I like Goretzka. If we bring Amrabat and Goretzka in, that's fine. Let's say we sell McTominay, Fred, Donny, and we need 2 more additions. Amrabat and Goretzka, fine. But he should not be chosen over. Goretzka should not be chosen over Amrabat. Amrabat is what we need. Amrabat's worked with Ten Hag. Amrabat is a better player for a better fee. Amrabat should be the focus, and I believe Amrabat is the focus. When Manchester United were very close to signing Onana, we got lots of reports saying we're going in for the Feyenoord keeper. We got lots of reports saying we're going to pursue the Feyenoord keeper. We signed Onana. When Man United were very close to Mason Mount, a lot of reports said we're going in for Caicedo. We signed Mason Mount. When there was a lot of reports linking us to Højlund, we were also heavily linked to Kolo Muani. He was still on United's list. We went and got Rasmus Højlund. For me, this is just an indication that Amrabat's closer than we think. When we start getting linked to a player who's the same position as a player that we know we're pursuing, Amrabat from Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio Romano confirmed today, Amrabat has said yes to United. Amrabat has agreed to join United. Romano said the words, Amrabat has said yes to United. Amrabat wants United. Talks are ongoing. It might have to wait until Fred is sold. We know Manchester United are very deep in the Amrabat situation. Like we knew Man United were very deep in the Højlund situation. Like we knew Man United were very deep in the Mount situation and the Onana situation. So I think the fact that we are being linked to Goretzka for me is a positive thing, because I think it's one of those stories that United do as a negotiation tactic. They will be saying to Florentina, well, we've got Goretzka. We're also in talks for Goretzka. We haven't made our mind up. So if you're going to price us out of Amrabat, that's fine. We'll go for Goretzka. He's got 1 year left on his contract. We can get him on a free. I think United will be linking themselves to Goretzka and using Goretzka purely as a negotiation tactic. And I think this is an indication that Man United are well in the Amrabat deal. Even reports that Amrabat's agents are obviously out there in Manchester trying to sort the deal out as well. I think Amrabat to United is really going to step up. Guys, we're 9 subscribers away from, of course, 66.9k. Only 9 more people need to subscribe. So do smash that like button if you haven't already as well. Should we sell Eriksen? He's lost a yard of pace. I do worry about Eriksen. I did a video on my second channel, if you don't follow my second channel, saying one player I believe is most likely to flop at each club next season. And unfortunately, I did put Eriksen as my player at United because I think Maino was playing over him, Mount's coming in, Amrabat coming in. I do think that Eriksen will get lost behind. And why am I Googling Eriksen? I wanted to show you what I wanted to talk about. And then there's a little bit of news on Greenwood that I will talk about at the end of the live stream. But I wanted to talk about how Man United are potentially going to line up next season. And I'll probably do a video on this if you want, guys. But I'm more focused on midfield. I think midfield will be something like this next season. I think it will be Amrabat. And then I think Maino. I can't see Maino playing DM in the big games. Even though we played there a bit in pre-season, I see Maino kind of playing in that role next to Casemiro, but being the deeper of the two. And I can see, again, this being Amrabat, Eriksen. I'm going to say Amrabat, Maino. And then I'm going to put Eriksen, and then I think Donny will be sold, but we'll put Eriksen / Donny here. I think he'll be sold, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I think next season, Eriksen is definitely going to have a reduced role. I think that the time is sort of ending for Eriksen, because when you think about it, it's Casemiro, Mount, Bruno is the main midfield three. Then it seems to be Casemiro, Maino, Bruno. If Amrabat comes in, then it's obviously going to be Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno. So with Mount coming in, with Amrabat coming in, with Casemiro starting to take an importance in Maino, I do think that's why Donny will leave, because Donny knows he needs to get game time for his career. He's had 3 seasons of nothing. I do think that Fred will leave because Romano said that Fred will leave. It's just a matter of time. And I do think that McTominay could leave because West Ham haven't signed anyone. There's pressure on West Ham. And McTominay's got the ambition to go and get game time. So I do think that Eriksen next season is someone that's not going to get a whole load of minutes. And I think that's okay. I think having Eriksen as your last kind of choice midfielder in that creative role shows how far we've come on. I think I said to achieve elite squad depth, the players that were starting in the squad last season now have to be on the bench. I said if Man United want to get squad depth at centre-back, they need to sign Kim Min-jae and put Varane on the bench. Because if Varane is your bench centre-back, boom. United sign Mount, they put Eriksen on the bench. Because we were playing Eriksen and Varane in our strongest lineup. But if we sign players where all of a sudden Eriksen's on the bench and Varane's on the bench, at least if there's an injury, Eriksen and Varane go in the starting 11 and you've still got a pretty strong starting 11, rather than putting McTominay and Maguire in the starting 11, it's significantly weaker. I do think what United have done there is massively improve their bench depth as well. I'm a little behind on the live chat, so I'm just scrolling down now. I think we all know Amrabat will likely get at CDM, but it's perhaps important that we're linked to a second striker and centre-back. It said after Man United's pursuit of Amrabat, if they have the funds, they'll be looking at a centre-back, depending on if Maguire leaves, and of course, potentially another attacker. Ten Hag would like a versatile forward that could play across the front three. He's made that pretty clear. United will be willing to accept 12 million for Fred now. United considerably lowering the asking price for Fred, willing to accept 12 million as well. And hi, Alice, I was thinking Sergeant Ratcliffe has been paused out over him not getting backing or board approval. You know what's funny is the report about a bidder being paused out of the takeover would have come from Sergeant Ratcliffe's side, because we know that the report that the bidders aren't paused out of the takeover has come from Sheikh Jassim's side. So there could be a situation where actually, you know, the report from iPaper Sport is true. One of the bidders has been paused out of the race, and that's Sir Jim. But, you know, as far as we're aware, the Qataris aren't paused out of the race. Mike Keegan said that no one's paused out of the race, but we know for sure the Qataris aren't paused out of the race. So definitely interesting things coming on as well. Arsenal losing to Monaco, big up Monaco as well. Monaco are beating the Gooners and beating them quite comfortably as well. I'd like to see Garnacho, Højlund, and Pellistri front three at some point this season. You know what? That would be pretty interesting. I want to talk about our kind of depth. So Højlund will be the main striker, and then I guess you've got Martial, Rashi, and Sancho that can all play this role. You could even play Bruno false nine if we wanted to, but I'm not a big fan of that. And then I guess we've got Anthony will probably be first choice, and then I guess you've got Pellistri, Sancho. I believe one of Ahmad or Pellistri will be loaned. You've got Ahmad here, and then you've obviously got Rashford, and then you've got Garnacho, and then you've probably got Sancho, and even Pellistri, as we saw, could play here. So, you know, when United have actually got, even though there's a lack of experience and inconsistency in attack here, even though, you know, Rashford's the only person that guarantees lots of goals, and there's a lot of inconsistency in other players and inexperience here, United have got really exciting attacking options. I think if United bring in Amrabat, they've got really good midfield options. I do think Man United's depth with the addition of Amrabat will be much more improved. If you kind of look at it here, Amrabat and Mount will really help the midfield depth. I do think that we're getting in a better position of depth. I think the only place we struggle for depth will be that right centre-back role. Obviously, Johnny Evans coming in as a fifth-choice centre-back, but you don't want Johnny Evans as your depth. I think right-back, although people say both right-backs aren't good enough, I think you've still got two solid right-backs. I even think left-back, I think we've got good depth. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Malacia, and a lot of people have turned on Malacia, but, you know, I think he's a good bit part player. He's not Luke Shaw, but he's a good bit part player. And obviously, the problem is, in terms of depth, it will be Varane. It will be Varane because of Varane's injury record. But I do think United have decent depth. You've obviously, I'm just sort of showing you here, you've got Shaw and Lindelof that can fill in at left centre back here. And then you've got Maguire and Evans. And I think, you know, you look at the United squad, if they do add Amrabat, and you go, all right, what else would we need to add after Amrabat? And you could say maybe more experienced strikers to the pressure of Højlund, and you're probably looking at that Varane back up there, I think, as what Man United would need to improve next season as well. But yeah, and Keegan tweeted again, trying to send the link to the chat. Did Keegan tweet again? Let me check the Twitter. Any more information on Mike Keegan? And you see if there's any more information on the takeover as well. Manchester United has confirmed that the club are going to announce Rasmus Højlund. Are not planning to announce Rasmus Højlund to the weekend. So lots of sources confirming Rasmus Højlund won't be announced to the weekend as well. Just sort of reading something here quickly. Let me just see if Mike Keegan said anything else on the takeover quickly. Mike Keegan's not said anything else. It's just said, Mike Keegan said on the takeover, negotiations are still ongoing with Qatar and multiple parties. There's no pause in the process, despite reports, and the Qataris are still confident their bid will prevail. That is what Mike Keegan has said on the takeover, so nothing new coming in there. I do want to get into one last story before I do end the live stream. I was just talking about United's elite squad depth there, and I think it's quite interesting. I say elite squad depth. I think if we bring an Amrabat, it is that centre back thing. But as I said, would you rather? This is my question. Would you rather United just, you know what, keep with the squad they have now, and then sign an elite right centre back in summer, or would you rather United just buy another average centre back just to improve the depth? Because you know what, if we buy Amrabat and we don't buy centre back, I won't be mad if it means we're going to buy a proper right centre back next summer, because I think we're in a situation where you sell Maguire, you've got 30 million to replace him. But if you buy a 30 million centre back, does that guarantee they're going to push Varane out the side? No. if you don't sell Maguire, you keep him around as a fourth choice centre back, but next summer you sell him and then you go and buy £60 million centre back, that then all of a sudden Varane's on the bench, we become a much stronger side. So I'm not super fussed about centre back. I do think we need one just because of the injury records. But if I had to choose between Amrabat and a centre back, it would 100% be Amrabat as well. What are your thoughts on Eric Ten Hag playing Bruno wide? Doesn't work for me. I completely agree. I do not like Bruno playing wide at all. I'm not a big fan of Bruno playing out wide as well. A lot of people with me on wait till summer, throwing on Evans. I'm sceptical about Evans, but wait until summer because I think that gives us the ability to go all out as well. Someone's saying, Alice, you're becoming a joke. Why? Because I'm happy to keep Maguire and go all out for a centre back in the summer. I mean, that doesn't make sense. I think that, if that could give us the ability to get a proper right centre back in the summer. I mean, if the Glazers are still here, then who knows what we'll do next summer? Who knows what we'll do next summer? But the way I'm looking at it is I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm positive the Glazers will go. I'm positive, that we should hopefully get good owners. I'm going to be positive on that. I'm not actually 100% positive on that, but I'm trying to be positive. We could be in a position next summer where we could get Kane on a 3, get Mbappe on a 3. Well, if Mbappe is available on a 3, it's going to Real Madrid, so we're not going to get Mbappe in a 3. But Man United could be in a position next summer where we've got Amrabat in, we call that summer, and then we can get another experienced striker in, we can get another proper centre-back in, and then we might go, you know what? We want to bring in another right back. And then I think, I don't think we're going to win the league this year. I saw these numpties tweeting online. I saw these absolute numpties tweeting online saying Man United are going to, if Man United don't challenge for the title this year, Ten Hag should be sacked. Look at the money they spent. Well, it's just Ten Hag's second season. Next season, we should be challenging for the title. For me, we're building a squad that's going to get closer to City. We're building a squad that's got better depth to cope with the season, that's more experienced to play, similar to how Eric Ten Hag played at Ajax. We're building a squad that should be in the top 4 and should be winning trophies. But I still think the City are far ahead of us. And then I think next summer is when you sign that striker that's going to help out Højlund. You sign that centre-back that's going to push Varane onto the bench. You potentially sign that right-back to improve, to level up. And then that's when United should hopefully be challenging as well. But yeah, keep smashing the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new and share the video. We are, guys, 2 subscribers away from my target of hitting 66.9k. Only 2 more people do need to subscribe to the channel as well. Højlund's delayed. Doesn't mean he's coming for the game. I think, Højlund being delayed says to me that he won't be in training, which says to me he won't play versus RC Lens, which means he's just going to be announced versus RC Lens, so we're not going to see him in pre-season, which is what I find a little bit worrying as well. A lot of people agreeing with the whole wait till summer stuff as well. I'm just scrolling down. Alice, your Don, love the channel. Big up everybody in the chat as well. Alice is dreaming again. If we keep Greenwood, that's another right wing striker. Look, I'm not going to add Greenwood to any of these lineups until we know the situation on Greenwood. We're on 364 likes. Let's go for 400 likes as well. Amrabat can fill in at right back if needed. 100%. If needed, Amrabat could be an absolutely solid right back because he's actually played a few games there, but he will definitely be in the midfield. But he's like Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice. He's such a versatile player. He could play anywhere as well. And obviously, keep liking, keep subscribing. Ramos' wages are ridiculous. Oh, I don't want Sergio Ramos near United. He's nowhere near the level he used to be as well. He's more likely to play Lindelof if Varane is injured. Oh yeah, Lindelof is likely to play if Varane gets injured, like he did last year as well. Our midfield options are not good enough yet. The thing is, if Maino reaches his ceiling and Amrabat comes in and hits the ground running, it is good. I'm sceptical about Mason Mount. He's not blown me away in pre-season. I am sceptical about it, but I just don't want Bruno playing out wide. Do you know what fears me the most? Do you know what worries me the most going into next season? Is like if they dare try putting Bruno out wide, that's what I'm not going to like. Bruno does not work out wide. We've seen it so many times. I don't want Bruno to be playing out wide. He needs to be in the middle. We haven't really. I think Mount, Amrabat, Casemiro would work best for Mount. And I think Mount can work with Bruno and Casemiro, but I am quite sceptical to see how Mount fits in. But obviously, being positive. But obviously, the signing I'm most looking forward to now is Amrabat, and that should be done. He's physical, he's press resistant, he's an elite tackler, he's got a top work rate, and of course, Amrabat has played under Ten Hag before, so lots of positives there as well. Guys, please do smash the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. There is a little bit of news on Mason Greenwood. I just wanted to leave it to the end of the video because, as you guys know, I'm just fed up with talking about the situation. It's like the takeover, but it's like the takeover. It's like we keep hearing that we will have a decision soon, and we don't have a decision. So the reason I just don't really like covering the story is because it's like there's not really much to say other than we're going to we're just waiting for that decision. But it was said, and I believe it was said by Fabrizio Romano that we were going to hear something about Greenwood in the next sort of 24 to 48 hours or something like that. Let me actually get it up on my screen here. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they say something on Greenwood before they announce Højlund, but this is me speculating. The reason Kane's in the thumbnail is because I think if we get Qatar, there's a chance of Kane. That was just me. Didn't know what to add to the side of the thumbnail. Do I add Joe and Avram Glazer? Don't really want them on my thumbnail. Do I add Amrabat? He's been in every thumbnail for the last month. I've seen his picture too much. Pat Harry Kane in there. But an announcement on Mason Greenwood's future is now a matter of days or even next hours. It all depends on Man United. Ten Hag will be involved in the technical decision whether United want to keep loan or sell him. So Ten Hag will apparently have some involvement, but obviously the board will make the decision. I've always said, and I will stick to my stance, loan makes the most sense. You want to make loan gives you a chance to see how he hits the ground running, how he deals with the mental return to football, if he's still the same player in the same form. Loan gives an opportunity to see how fans respond to him. Do fans warm up to him? Does his image improve? That also means that you don't anger certain Man United fans. You don't anger certain Man United players that feel uncomfortable with him coming back. Loan makes most sense to me. Sell him, I think he'll be very difficult to sell him because a lot of people won't know how he'll perform. So if you loan him, if you do want to sell him, I'd still loan him. If United decide to sell him, I'd still loan him first to get his value up. And then obviously keeping him, I think is a real possibility. And the reason I think keeping him is a real possibility is because this decision's been delayed a while. I feel like they were delaying it till he had his kids to maybe use his PR. There's definitely a chance he stays. But someone I spoke to said that he's going to be loaned. Someone I spoke to said they've got a strong indication he's going to be loaned, but they haven't 100% made their mind up yet. So we'll have to see what happens with that as well. But yeah, guys, look, we're on 381 likes. If everybody who hasn't hit the like button hits that like button, we will surely hit the 400 like target. So let's go for 400 likes. And of course, please subscribe down below if you're new. I go live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more. I'm worrying they're delaying Højlund's announcement to Mars that they're going to accept Greenwood and one announcing that at the same time. That's what I have a feeling about, but we'll have to wait and see as well. The sponsors don't have a say. Well, apparently, the thing is, there was a report that Adidas had approved his return, and then Adidas said, no, we haven't. But then 2 days later, Adidas agreed this 900 million deal with United. So they've obviously been having some kind of talks with United. So I don't know if Adidas were just saying that to save his image. But obviously, he's been dropped by Nike, and there is a rumor going about that he's actually signed a deal with Adidas, and that Adidas are going to take him on because the charges were dropped, even though it was dropped by Nike. But again, a lot of speculative news, a lot of news that, again, yeah, a lot of speculative, as well. Big up everybody in the chat showing support. If we had an out-and-out striker, Bruno out wide could work, but Cam, yeah. And obviously, yeah, for 100%, Bruno needs to be playing number 10 for me. He's most effective number 10. Bruno is the guy that if Bruno doesn't play, we play nowhere near as well. Because whether you like Bruno, whether you don't like Bruno, one thing you can say about Bruno is when Bruno's in the middle, whether he's good, whether he's bad, he's involved in the game. He makes things happen. When Bruno plays out wide, he doesn't get involved in the game as much as he would if he played in the middle. That is the thing. If Bruno's out wide, he's heavily involved in the game. If Bruno's playing in the middle, if Bruno's out wide, he's not heavily involved in the game. If Bruno's playing in the middle, he is heavily involved in the game. I think Bruno can work out wide. He had good games for Portugal out wide. He's had decent games for United out wide. I think there's a certain style of game that Bruno could play out wide in, and I think with the right striker, he has the capability to play out wide and be good. But let's not doubt that Bruno's best position is in the middle. Bruno Fernandes's best position for Manchester United is bang in the middle of the pitch. Because he is creative. He created the most chances in the Premier League. He created the most big chances in the Premier League, the most key passes in the Premier League, the most chances created in a single game. Bruno Fernandes makes things happen. He makes the side tick. Bruno's one of our best and most important players. So why ship Bruno out wide to accommodate someone like Donny van de Beek, for example? Why ship Bruno out wide to accommodate Eriksen? What I don't get is we bring on Eriksen and then Bruno goes out wide and it's Mount Eriksen, Casemiro in midfield three. No, we shouldn't be shipping Bruno to accommodate Eriksen. It should be Mount or Eriksen going out wide and Bruno staying in the middle. Or it should be Eriksen not coming on at all and Anthony comes on, Bruno goes back into the middle. I don't mind Bruno out wide in certain games, change something up. Maybe you've got a certain striker out there. I thought he was good for Portugal out wide, but from 90% of the time, he's got to play central. And for me, he's got to start central. He's got to start game central and then maybe move that wide as a tactical decision. But he's just so much better in the middle. And I back Ten Hag and I back every decision Ten Hag makes. It's a fantastic manager. He knows so much more than me. But the one thing I've not backed with Ten Hag is this. He seems to rate Bruno out wide, and I personally don't see it. Bruno, Amrabat, Casemiro will be brilliant. I'm also excited to see when Maino's back from injury, and fingers crossed Maino will be back from injury soon. Bruno, Maino, Casemiro as well. I really think there's a top player in Kobbie Mainoo. I'm really excited to see what happens with Kobbie Mainoo as well. So I'm really excited to see what would happen if Kobbie Mainoo obviously got brought back into the squad as well. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up today's live stream in a minute, by the way, because I have been live nearly an hour and I don't feel 100% today. I've not got the best breathing for some reason. So my throat's a bit iffy, so I'm worried I'm coming down with a bug, to be honest, but hopefully not. Haven't been ill in a while. Well, I have been, but that me drinking too much and being self-inflicted. But yeah, smash the like if you glazed out, as Alan says. Big up everybody in the chat. I've got some really good and interactive comments in the chat. I'm much more enjoying doing live streams at the moment. I had a period where I wasn't doing live streams as much because, one, there wasn't as much news, and then June, it was just so like, we haven't signed anyone. Are we going to sign anyone? But now things are happening. Now things like we've signed Hoyland, we've signed Anana, we've signed Mount, the season's starting, we're probably going to sign Amrabat. I'm really enjoying doing live streams and discussing it because I much prefer doing live streams when there's games on as well. We can talk about the pre-season games, we can take the mick out of Liverpool and Arsenal and hope they lose games. So I'll definitely do a live stream tomorrow. I am out tomorrow evening, so if I'm going to do a live stream, it might be in the day. So if you are subscribed, make sure you keep that post notification bell on. But I want to thank everyone that tuned into today's video. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time, and of course, bye.